Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
5 o'clock, Unfiltered, on this loser Monday.
You did not like my singing there. I'm changing tunes.
Yeah, I know. I'm ready to turn the page.
It's not just about turning the page. I think we all knew what was coming. Why couldn't we digest it? Maybe it's good. We had this one day to kind of get it out there. You look at the Flyers. I think we all knew that series was going to end poorly because I think we just knew that the Carolina Hurricanes were the better team. I give the Flyers a lot of credit. They kept fighting to the end. I know it was only 4 games, but they fought through every one of those games. You look at the Sixers, I don't believe they fought at all.
Now, the issue is, with the Flyers, if we were told before the season they would get to the second round of the playoffs, they would beat the Penguins in the postseason in the first round, you'd see growth from a lot of guys. Porter Martone would be here at the end of the year. Tyson Forster, after we thought he was out for the season, he'd be back. Trevor Zegras was going to have a career year. Dan Vladar was going to have a career year. We would have signed up for all of it. It was a phenomenal, phenomenal season for the Flyers. For the Sixers, I'm seeing a lot of people saying the same thing. Well, this is more of the national perspective on this. Well, if Sixers fans were told before the season that they would make the playoffs and beat Boston, everybody would have signed up for it. Yeah, but you got to understand something. That's because people's expectations weren't even in the basement. Whatever you could go below the basement. Is there a such thing? They were in the dirt. They were in the foundation of the damn house because of last year. No one had expectations for this team. But that doesn't mean we're happy that all they did was get out of the first round when you have Joel Embiid and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, and they're all making a ton of money outside of VJ.
I said this after the first round. I didn't understand why everybody was so enthusiastic over them winning a first-round game. Remember I said if this was like the Magic or something, nobody would be saying boo.
Yeah, but here's why I was excited, and this is why I did the 180.
It was the first time in a long time.
Not even. It wasn't even that it had been 40-something years since they beat the Celtics. I thought, and couldn't have been more wrong, I thought that, wow, Embiid and Paul George are healthy together at the right time. They just knocked off the odds-on favorite in the Eastern Conference. Now, anything's possible. This team can go on a run. They're healthy. This is exactly what Daryl Morey's vision was. Look how good this team can be. And now that the Celtics are out of it, I started to get excited. They're going to beat the Knicks, then they're going to beat the Pistons, and they're going to go to the NBA Finals. Little did I know, Joel Embiid was going to be hurt for Game 2. How did we not see that one coming?
Did you come to terms that the Knicks were a much better team this year?
They're a better team. Emphasis on team. Yeah.
Yes.
Emphasis on team.
I don't think they don't have the better individual players.
Although Brunson's
a really good player. You know what? You look at him, and you know why does every other team hate him? You have to look at it that way. There's a reason.
You'd love him on your team.
There's a reason why certain players get booed when they go to visiting arenas or visiting stadiums.
Well, and this is where, when you look at Tyrese Maxey, and I'm not putting all the blame on Tyrese, but when you look at Maxey, and then you look at Jalen Brunson, Brunson has the ability to take over a game. We didn't see Maxey take over any games in that series against the Knicks.
None.
Yeah, Maxey struggled too in that series. But now here you are, and the question today is, all right, well, what now? Okay, what happens now? Because you look at where the Sixers are, and if you're just joining us, let me reestablish everything that's going on. Quentin Grimes, Kelly Oubre Jr., Andre Drummond, and Kyle Lowry are the notable free agents. Dominic Barlow and Trendon Watford are free agents, but there's a club option. Joel Embiid is now starting, I'm not misspeaking here, starting his 3-year contract extension. He's owed $193 million over the next 3 years. Paul George still has 2 years left for $111 million, and Maxey makes over $40 for the next 3 years. So now what do? You also don't have your own first-round pick in this coming draft. You have the Houston Rockets, which is pick 22. You do have your own first-round pick in 2027. You owe Brooklyn your first-round pick in 2028, but it is top 8 protected. You also own the LA Clippers first-round pick in 2028, and it's unprotected, so that's good. You also have your own first-round pick in 2029, and you hold a pick swap with the LA Clippers that is a top 3 protected pick swap. So you have all this going on. What can you do if you are either Daryl Morey or whoever the president of basketball operations will be if they decide to move on? What can you do?
I guess your choices are eat everything and play with these guys and see what happens. That you could just play with George, play with Embiid through the 27-28 season, because you know Paul George is going to take his player option. It's $56 million. He's not going to turn that down.
No doubt.
There's about zero chance of him turning that down. So you play it out through the 28 season, which would leave Embiid as a 1-year player left, one year left, and you see what happens. I guess that would be number one. But the problem with that is that I just brought this up. You're losing Quentin Grimes. He's going to be a free agent. Kelly Oubre, a free agent. And Drummond, going to be a free agent. You spent $193 million last year. You already on the books have $180 million on the books right now. That is without Grimes, without Oubre, without Drummond. So how the hell are you going to build a bench if you don't want to go over the cap?
Yeah, the luxury tax. That's what my next point was. Because we know Josh Harris doesn't want to go over the luxury
tax. But that's my whole thing here is then the other way to go is try to trade Embiid.
All right, so let's look at that scenario, because the easy thing to say is try to trade Embiid.
I said try.
Yeah, because what you just said, if you run it back with Embiid, George, Maxey, Edgecombe, do you believe this team can win a title with Joel Embiid?
No.
I don't either.
I wish I could say yes. He's not healthy enough.
Exactly. It's all about availability. He's not healthy enough. George is not getting any younger either. So now you sit here, okay, try to trade Joel if that's in fact the path people want to take. How do you do that? Well, let's hear from 2 NBA insiders, because who in their right mind would pay $193 million, which is what's remaining on Embiid's contract, for a guy who plays 39 games a year? 39. Here was Brian Windhorst on Get Up, and you'll hear the national perspective about, well, it was a success because you beat Boston. Get out of here with that. But listen to Windhorst about Embiid's future.
Well, let me say that I do think this was a success because they beat the Celtics in that first-round series with the comeback. Embiid was awesome. They hadn't beaten the Celtics in 40-plus years. It's a little bit worrying to hear him say we came into the season thinking he was about done, considering he has 3 years and $192 million left on his contract, which is a new extension, which will begin next season. And that is why I can promise him he will definitely be back. He is not going anywhere. The Sixers do have a couple of free agents, Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes, that they have to deal with. But, with him and Paul George locked into enormous salaries, this is going to be a team that's going to mostly have these guys next season.
Get excited. I mean, and Windhorst is probably not wrong. Like, you're not going to be able to move those big contracts with how big they are unless you attach draft capital to it, where you would have to actually go to another team and you would have to convince them to take on Embiid or Paul George's contract and say, hey, and we'll give you our 2027 first-round pick with it. Now, that's exactly what Bobby Marks was talking about this morning. Bobby Marks, front office insider for ESPN, he was on Kincaid and Sal Chunas, and he talks about the difficulty of moving these guys.
Value in getting something of value back, you mean? I think it's a little bit challenging. I think certainly in a day and age where $50 million players, you better, if you're going to sign a player or trade for a player, you better make sure you have the right player with that type of salary here. Embiid's entering year one of this big extension. Paul's got 2 years left. You owe $300 million to both players, and they're all guaranteed. I think that's a challenge. It's a challenge listen, if you want to incentivize teams to take on the players and include stuff with it, yeah, sure. Players can always be moved and stuff like that. And Joel, he was terrific and the tail end of that Boston series. But, I think, certainly his body let him down a little bit in the New York series and everything. So, yeah, I think it's a challenge. I think if that's what the direction they wanted to go in as far as exploring trades. And if it's not, then you have to be content as far as kind of who you are and basically making some marginal moves as far as where you are with your bench.
All right, so that was Bobby Marks of ESPN. He was on Kincaid and Salchunas this morning. They're going to have Tony Jones of The Athletic on tomorrow morning, who wrote the article today that we cited a few times earlier.
The thing that really sticks out to me is, what are you going to do about your bench?
Well, the bench is going to be hard to fill if you don't trade Embiid and George. But let's look at what he's talking about of trying to attach maybe some more draft capital to Embiid and George to trade them. So let me ask you, Ricky. If another team was willing to take on Joel Embiid's 3 remaining years, but it meant you had to trade a first-round draft pick in 2027, would you do it?
Yeah, I would.
Now, the reason I say 2027 is I think the 2026 draft pick in this coming draft, which is the 22nd overall pick you got from Houston in the Jared McCain trade, I would do that in a heartbeat. Because the chance of you finding a player at 22 are slim. But I think another team, if they're smart, is going to say, no, we don't want the 2026 draft pick. We want the 2027. Because we know if you trade Joel Embiid, you're not going to be as good of a team. You're going to have to take on probably some expiring contracts. You're not going to be good, and that 2027 pick is going to be a very high pick in the draft. But that's the dilemma you're in, because I would probably consider doing it, Ricky. But at the same time, how do you build back your assets? If you trade the 2027 draft pick just to get out from under Joel, and you have a bad season in 2026, because we've seen Maxey and Edgecombe aren't good enough to carry this team, you've given up a potential lottery pick to replenish talent, to find another stud that you could put with Maxey and Edgecombe. Like, you're in this weird cycle. It's almost like you can't trade Joel. You can't trade Paul George. And you're going to have to just sit back and wait.
That's what it feels like to me. That's why I'm not even getting excited with the fact that there is a possibility to trade Joel Embiid. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the other teams are dumb enough to do it right now.
Would you move on from Daryl Morey?
Yes.
So would I. Would you move on from Nick Nurse?
If I'm moving on from Morey, I have to move on from Nurse.
I'm right there with you.
I don't mind Nurse. I thought he did some really good things in the Celtics series. But when, push comes to shove, he hasn't had the roster to do too much, period.
Yeah, but I'm right there with you. Like, if you're
going one, you're going the other.
Yeah, if you're going to clear out Morey, you clear out Nurse as well, and probably Elton Brand, who's the GM, but Morey's the one calling the shots. But if you do that, no matter who takes over, is still handcuffed by Embiid's contract, Paul George's contract, and an owner who doesn't want to go over the luxury tax. So even if the brightest basketball mind comes in here, I still think the Sixers aren't winning anything anytime soon. And that's a terrible thing to try to sell to a fan base who endured the process. We were told that the process and the whole part of that was so that this team would be competing for titles, not where we're sitting here saying, well, just get out of the second round. Hey, just beat the Celtics and it's a success. Mm-hmm. And you hear Joel saying it was a success for him because he played 39 games.
Right. That's not a success. That's not one of those stories where people are going to feel all warm and cozy hearing. It's not like Cal Ripken breaking the record for consecutive games played. I think this is one of those things where people are like, what? He only played 39 games? What? Wait a minute. Hold on. He only played 93 games in the last 3 years?
Yep.
I mean, it is kind of crazy when you think about it. This is a guy you need on the court every chance you get.
Would love to hear from Sixers fans. Still time to get your memos in. We hear you coming up in about 10 minutes. What moves would you make? Like, would you move on from Morey? Would you move on from Nurse? Would you try to trade Embiid or George? Because here's another thing that I keep seeing, and you can get your memos in, 610-632-0975. I'm seeing a lot of people just talking about how they need to build up the bench and you're going to build your team differently. Embiid's not going to be the focal point of your offense. You're going to focus more on the young guards in Maxey and Edgecombe, and that's all fine in theory. But like Ricky keeps pointing out, when you have that much money tied up between Joel and Paul George, where are you finding the money? Not going over the luxury tax, because Josh Harris doesn't want to do that. Where are you finding the money to build this team the way people are saying you need to build a team?
It's not going to be there. I mean, in all honesty, without the Oubre, without Grimes, without Drummond, you are at $180 million right now going into next season. The Sixers only spent $193 this year. If you want any of those three guys back, and Oubre was a starter for a lot of the time, then what? Then what? You're probably going to have to double his salary. That puts you probably over to 193. So where are you getting your bench players? That is the question that I'm like searching for. If you have all this money tied up in really three players, where are you getting money to pay for your bench players that are desperately needed, including the fact that Joel Embiid played 39 games?
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
It's that's why I said earlier, I don't even think the Sixers are in purgatory. It feels like we're in hell.
But you're
because there's no way out.
You're paying a guy almost $60 million to play 39 games.
Maybe we'll play 40 next year. Come on, man. Let's be positive here.
I am trying to be positive. I love Joel Embiid when he's healthy and on the court. I love him.
And the bigger problem I'm seeing is it's not even just about the regular season. We saw it firsthand. Even though Joel was playing so well and the team was playing so well in those last three games against the Celtics to come back from down 3-1, for you to do anything in the postseason, Joel's going to have to be able to play more than 3 games in a row. He's going to have to be able to handle an every other night schedule. So is Paul George. And that's what it's going to take in the postseason when the games get ramped up, when the intensity level gets ramped up, when the physicality gets ramped up. Is there anyone that truly believes that Joel Embiid and Paul George are going to be able to handle what it would take for them to win 4 games in the first round, then 4 games in the second round, then 4 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, and 4 games in the NBA Finals? And that's what we should be playing for, is a title, not just a decent regular season that gets you a few home postseason games that get taken over anyway by Knicks fans. All right, let's talk about something positive, Ricky. Christopher Sanchez, we got some breaking news. He was named National League Player of the Week. How about that? Some good news right there.
By the way, when you said that, people's hearts just went into their throats.
What? When I said some good news?
No, you said we have some breaking news.
Oh, like someone, yeah, sorry. No one got fired yet. But Christopher Sanchez.
I wasn't thinking that. I thought he was injured. But I already knew. So
sorry about that. Chris, I said, so let's talk about good news, though. That would have been good news. Christopher Sanchez, in his 2 starts, he pitched 15 innings, gave up 0 earned runs, struck out 17, only walked 1, had a whip of .67, and an opponent batting average of 170. Player of the week, Christopher Sanchez. How about that, Ray Dunn?
How about that?
So that's good news. At least the baseball team's getting good, Ricky, right in time now, because they're going to get all the attention now.
Well, yeah, they went on their losing streak at a perfect time.
They lucked out with that.
So for those of you who have been following the Sixers and Flyers and kind of backburnered the Phillies, they did have a 10-game losing streak at one point, and they fired their manager. And now they're playing pretty good baseball against pretty bad teams.
Yes, they are, but they take on the Red Sox, who also fired their manager early in the season.
And we get a Ranger danger this week.
Ranger versus Luzardo. It's like the guy they chose over Ranger.
Who do you root for?
Oh, you root for the Phillies.
I mean, we're rooting for the Phillies, but do you root for like a 0-0 game until like the 7th?
Nah, I'd like to see the Phillies smoke them.
Whatever you think.
I love Ranger Suarez, but he's wearing a Red Sox jersey now.
He's going to be smug, too, if he gets Harper to ground out. Remember, Bryce used to think it was so cute, and Ranger took his time over to first base. Watch.
Oh, that's good. It's going to be, that's Wednesday or Thursday, we said? Wednesday. Also, on Wednesday, we might have a very big guest in studio. Stay tuned for that. I'll tell you about that tomorrow.
Who's that?
Well, we'll have to wait. You got to wait till tomorrow to hear about that one. But coming up next, We Hear You Part 2, the best voice messages of the show. I'm sure these are going to be very, very interesting.
It's not Wednesday.
Keep it here, Unfiltered, 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. All right, welcome back into Unfiltered. We got We Hear You Part 2 coming up. But I just found out tomorrow on the show.
Yeah?
We got, not only do we have a food drop, courtesy of the South 9th Street Market Festival happening Saturday and Sunday, the Italian festival down there. We're going to have 3 $50 gift cards to give away. one to Paisanos, another to Toludo's, and another one to Capuccio's Meats tomorrow on the show.
Don't we have a Cappuccio here?
Oh! So we got some good Italian food being dropped off tomorrow, but that'll be fun. So that festival is Saturday and Sunday, but you can win some gift cards tomorrow. Toludo's.
You know, everything we get tomorrow is going to be seasoned perfectly, whether it's sandwiches or whatever. They will be perfect.
I'm really excited.
I just found out what we got tomorrow.
I didn't. Is it in our email?
What
Don't
is
tell
it?
us.
Yeah.
So we got hoagies coming from Toludo's. We got chocolate from Anthony's, pizza from Lorenzo's, and how about this? Cannolis from Isgrove's.
Man, I'm so jealous.
About that.
But you could win your gift cards tomorrow on the show. I got to figure out how we're going to give them away.
Right?
Maybe we'll do like
Italian trivia?
Yeah,
No,
some
just-
sort of Italian trivia. Some sort of Italian trivia. All right, so here's what we got coming up right now. If you did miss the news earlier, Christopher Sanchez, National League Player of the Week after 2 tremendous starts. The NFL has now confirmed Thanksgiving Day, 4:30 on Fox, will be the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're used to hosting or doing whatever on Thanksgiving, you might have to change your plans. Ricky and I are already in the works trying to book our flights to Dallas. We may go to the game. Unfortunately, Ricky's got to bring his daughters. What the heck is that about?
What do you mean, unfortunately?
What's that about, Ricky Bo?
See, this is where Bill turns into a donkey again. It's just unbelievable.
I'm only
Barking
kidding.
up the wrong tree.
I am only kidding.
He barked. He did. He went up the wrong tree there.
Big fan of the Batalico daughters. Very nice
He's never
women.
met them.
Never met them. Nice women, though. Well, there are big Philadelphia sports fans, which is great.
Listen to him lie.
No,
He's
they
never
are.
even met them.
No, I've seen videos. Ricky sent me videos from like games. They're like madmen at games.
Well, my oldest is out of her mind.
Huge.
She was just here this weekend.
Yeah, huge fans. All right, so here's what we got coming up, though. We hear you, the best voice messages of the day. It's always brought to you by Rycor Heating and Cooling, delivering high-efficiency heating and cooling solutions across the greater Philadelphia area, New Jersey, and the Delaware Valley. Visit RycorHVAC.com or call 1-855-MY-RYCOR to schedule a free consultation. Rycor, we know how. Let's get it.
Now.
You want to know?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
Are you listening to me?
We can hear you.
I have something to say.
Please just keep it simple and brief.
Thank you.
Listen to me carefully.
And that's all I have to say about that.
We hear you.
All right, let's get started.
We know Knicks fans are pompous. So the Sixers fans overcharge 5-6 times the amount of their tickets. And these pompous fools pay it just so they could put on their Instagram and their Facebook, yo, we took this over down here, Knicks. But don't they realize their franchise is worse than us? 1973 was their last championship. I guess not, because they're too pompous to realize it.
Listen, they are pompous, and a lot of them are obnoxious, but I don't think it's simply because Sixers fans can charge Knicks fans an absorbent amount of money, because you don't see it happen across the other sports teams. Like, you don't see Giants fans taking over the link.
It never will happen.
You don't see...
Well, the Mets fans have done it to Citizens Bank Park.
Not in the postseason.
Not in the postseason, no.
And certainly, I don't think...
I'm not sure. A couple of years ago?
Did they take over in the postseason?
It wasn't as bad as Xfinity Mobile, but I remember there were a bunch of Mets fans there, yeah.
And I don't think... I mean, you just saw the Flyers take on the Hurricanes. If that was the Rangers... That building would have still been predominantly Flyers fans. I have never seen a takeover like it happens with the Knicks, and I don't think it's because of the Knicks. I think it's because of the Sixers and the product they've put on the court for the last 25 years. Sixers fans are exhausted by it. And when you go down 2-0 in New York and then go down 3-0, of course Sixers fans are going to sell their tickets on Mother's Day.
And I feel like the Knicks fans are kind of smelling it. They know they got a pretty good team, which I think has an opportunity here to possibly win something.
Yeah.
That's been a long time for them, too.
As sad as it sounds, I think you're right. All right, keep them rolling.
Hey, it's your buddy John Kruk here. Not too happy about the Sixers and how the season ended and this last series with the Knicks. Maury's got to go. Nurse might have to go too. PG and Joel have to go. You got to just make the money match up in a deal, expiring contracts, picks, whatever you got to do to match it up. You can move any contract in this league. You just got to be creative. Probably going to have to do one a year. Probably move one of them this offseason, one next offseason, but they got to go. build around Maxey and VJ.
That's our man John Kruk from Side John Sports, always checking in.
He's got to go. I mean, yeah, that's what you want to do is build around those two, but there's always that money situation that's going to be staring you right in the face.
The problem, though, is
the only way to possibly get bench players may be Joel Embiid.
How?
I guess if you trade them and get 3 bench players. Because you'd probably be looking at $16 to $18 million each, right?
Yeah, but you're also then going to have to give up probably your first-round pick.
Which would hurt a little bit.
Because I can't imagine any team is going to say, hey, sure, here, take a couple of our good depth pieces for a guy who plays 39 games a year and makes $60 million a year and $193 million over the next 3. You're going to have to include a first-round pick, and that's going to be the part that I don't know if the Sixers are going to do, because now it puts you in this weird state of affairs where you don't have the pick to improve the team around Maxey and Edgecombe. Because even if you traded Joel and you just bring in depth pieces and bench pieces, this team's not good enough to win anything.
I see what you're saying. I don't disagree with you. I just think it's one of those things where, you know what? Pick your poison here. Isn't that really where we stand, is pick your poison? Are you if you keep Embiid, you're not really going to be able to afford a bench. Are you? I've given out the numbers.
No.
I don't know how you afford a good bench. And I think that will become glaring as the season goes on when you got a center that plays half of the games.
And I also do not trust Daryl Morey to build that bench.
I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about something soon.
Yeah, you might be right. All right, keep them rolling.
You know what? I'm so sick of this 76ers team. You know what? They just relocate them to Kensington. You know, better yet, just send them over to China.
Send the Sixers to China?
Was that a real call?
I don't know.
Sounded like Bobcat. Remember that actor? Wasn't his name Bobcat?
Bobcat Goldthwait. Yeah.
Yes, didn't it sound like him?
Yeah.
From Police Academy?
Yes. It did a little bit. He also had a little Elmo.
Yeah, he did sound like Elmo.
Speaking of Elmo.
Yeah, I got bumped for Elmo the other day.
Yeah, what was he doing in the booth with John? And
I'd prefer Elmo, so.
Just look at her taking a shot at you.
You know what, Bill?
You've been very nice to her today.
Yeah. I'm always nice to her. She's just a wicked person.
No, that's not true, because you guys did not invite me to Dallas.
You don't eat turkey. We can't bring you anywhere on Thanksgiving.
They do not. I will repeat this. They do not let producers out of the cage.
In the thing. Wait, hold on.
So true, though.
Why was Elmo in the booth, though, with McCarthy?
I don't know. They were. I don't even actually know. What I do know is that we were supposed to do a crossover with them for pregame. We found out like halfway through pregame, we're not doing a crossover. They're doing something with Elmo. So literally, they had to set up cameras for Elmo and make sure the guy or Elmo could stand up straight.
Really?
Yeah.
He was drinking before the game.
He might have been. He had some coffee.
Listen, I mean, he was a hit.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
They're actually playing, like on Sunday, they actually played clips of it.
It was funny.
On the scoreboard.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Maybe since you're going to the PGA Championships, maybe I could get Elmo to co-host with me on Friday.
That would work. Might cost you a little bit for that one.
That would be smart.
Who do you think charges more an hour, Ricky Bo or Elmo?
Elmo. By a lot.
All right, what else we got?
This past weekend looked like a movie. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The bad. The Sixers look like they didn't know which way to turn. They can look like they're okay 1 minute and not know how to dribble the next. The ugly, the leadership of this team is in question. Because if you have to tell your team to slow down just so the leader can catch up to you, that ain't good at all. The good, the Flyers. They are on their way of moving up. They see it. They play with passion. They play with heart. Yes, they lost, but I am so happy to be watching this team and so excited for next season.
Yeah, that's a great call right there.
That's unbelievable. See what I mean? You have one team that people are excited for. They want to see them. They want more of them. You have another team that they could care less if they see them for a while.
Yeah.
Isn't that a weird scenario that both teams got ousted the exact same way? Yet one of them's, their expectations were so much higher than the others, and the whole city is flip-flopped.
Yeah, it has flip-flopped. And when you look at both teams now as they head into their off seasons, Flyers are exciting because it's, okay, what moves can they make to put them over the top? The Sixers, it's like, all right, what moves can they make? Yeah. What moves can they make just to change something, because we can't keep doing the same stuff every year and expecting a different result. You almost needed to dump me there. The same stuff. I was almost said something I shouldn't have.
Last one.
What else we got?
Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse will most likely be gone. The only untouchable for me on the roster is VJ Edgecombe. If I could get a good deal for Tyrese Maxey, I'd think about it. But at what point are we going to talk about Josh Harris? Josh Harris, the fact that you own the Commanders and the Devils, it's like bad juju. I feel like until Josh Harris sells the team, this black cloud will stay over Philadelphia for eternity. Just sell the team.
Yeah, listen, you're not the first person to suggest, Josh Harris should sell the team. I just don't see it happening. So we're trying to look at realistic scenarios of, okay, what changes can they make? Now, he is the first caller to suggest trading Tyrese Maxey. Now, I have heard that from others. I don't think you do that, but there have been others who have suggested, hey, really hit the reset button. Trade Maxey for a bunch of first-round draft picks. Use some of the first-round draft picks to also get out from under the Embiid and Paul George contracts and then start to build around VJ. But I don't know. That might be the only solution for a future, but I don't know if you could ask Sixers fans to sit through what would be basically another process.
No, thank you. And I will put this out there, is that Tyrese Maxey is no joke. He is a legit star in the NBA. But you have to ask yourself, and I think this is what the Sixers have to do to themselves. They got to say, where are we? Do we have a shot to win anything in the next 2 or 3 years? Don't you have to ask yourself that and be realistic about it?
Yeah, but they'll probably sell you.
Before they make a move. No, I'm talking about within their own circle.
Well, I guess it's, do you want a team that's just competitive? And I'm looking at this from Josh Harris's perspective. Oh, well, we'll have a competitive. Yeah, we'll have a competitive team with Embiid and George. It's fine. We won't win anything, but people will still buy tickets.
Yeah. That is what you're saying. I think you could look at it a couple different ways.
All right. So speaking of buying tickets.
Yeah.
Let's just take one more look coming up at what happened with the Knicks fans taking over the building. Because Maxey weighed in on it. Josh Hart from the Knicks trolling Philadelphia a little bit. He weighed in on it. Let's just close the book on this entire Knicks fans taking over the city of Philadelphia, because I don't think it's indicative of the city of Philadelphia. I think it's more about the 76ers, but we'll talk about that coming up right after this. We'll also get our final Twitter poll results to see where people are putting their energy into the Flyers or the Sixers. Keep it here. Unfiltered continues. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia.
Hey, it's Ricky Bo. Get yourself to the South 9th Street Market Festival this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The food going to be off the charts. So many vendors, live music in the streets. It's all things South Philly. So it's a perfect weekend. And this year they got one of the 22 celebratory bells for Philadelphia's 250th birthday. Beautiful, hand painted by a local artist, Cindy Lozito. The perfect photo opportunity for everyone. Plus, they have all the traditions you love. My favorite, the John Marzano half-ball tournament. They have the grease pole, procession of the Saints. As I mentioned, live music. It's going to be a blast. You don't want to miss it. Experience all the flavors that South 9th Street has to offer. Bring your family, bring your friends, and absolutely bring your appetite. The South 9th Street Market Festival, Philly's biggest block party between Fitzwater and Wharton Street this weekend, May 16th and 17th. For more information, visit ItalianMarketFestival.com.
All right, coming down the home stretch. Spent a lot of time talking about the 76ers today. We didn't talk about the Flyers as much as we probably should have, because the anger and frustration after that Sixers game yesterday really took over the conversation. But the Flyers should have been recognized, is the word I guess I'm looking for, and celebrated for the season that they had. And the question we threw out on the Twitter poll today was, in essence, where are you more today? Are you focused on the hopefulness of the Flyers and the direction that franchise is headed, or are you focused more on the hopelessness of the Sixers and where they stand right now with a bunch of big contracts between Embiid and Paul George, older players who can't stay healthy that are probably never going to lead you to the promised land. Where are you focused more? Now, predominantly on the Twitter poll, it's been, we're focused on the Flyers, we're focused on the Flyers. But our text board and our conversation was the complete opposite. But let's see where the Twitter poll numbers come in. Twitter poll stood strong thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Actually, is it still up?
It is still up, actually.
Of course it's still up, thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel. What are the final numbers?
What describes you more today? Hopeful for the Flyers or hopeless for the Sixers? Final numbers, 75% hopeful for the Flyers, 25% hopeless for the Sixers.
Yeah, and let's talk about this Knicks fan thing. Because right on cue, during the break, I get a message from a buddy of mine who's a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
And it's a rant from one of the New York sports talk hosts. Like, I can't believe Knicks fans took over the Sixers arena. Oh, Philadelphia fans should be embarrassed. Like, all these rants about how the Knicks fans took over and I can't believe it happened. I don't think it's that hard to understand, Ricky. The Sixers have been disappointing Sixers fans for 25 years. This team was terrible last year. This team got crushed by the Knicks 2 years ago, and they come into this series where they don't show up in game one. Joel Embiid is hurt for game two. Why is it that hard to believe that a fan base that has become almost apathetic towards the Sixers compared to a fan base that's excited about the rise of the Knicks and how good they are, that the Knicks fans would come down here and buy tickets to go to a Sixers game where Sixers fans on Mother's Day would think, we're not going to waste our time?
It was a perfect storm. It really was. It was Mother's Day. A lot of people were looking at the Sixers and saying they're not winning anyways. Why am I bother going to this game? And the season ticket holders were probably like, I might as well make some of my money back from how much I pay this team every single year. That's probably was the thought process. They knew the Knicks fans would come down. They knew they would buy tickets. And trust me, when I looked outside and I saw at one of the entrances, there had to be 500 to 1,000 people waiting in line. There wasn't one Sixers fan in that line.
A lot of Knicks fans.
It was unbelievable. All of them chanting, let's go Knicks. It was crazy.
Now, how do you stop it? The Sixers got to be better. The Sixers, not the fans. Not the Sixers fans. The Sixers have to give fans reason to not want to sell their tickets.
If the Sixers were up 3-0, there wouldn't have been a Knicks fan in there.
That is spot on. If the Sixers were up 3-0, coming off of a dominant performance, you better believe Sixers fans would have showed out. And Tyrese Maxey, I give him credit. He was asked about the Knicks fans taking over the building on Sunday, and I agree with him. You got to win. Here's Maxey.
It sucks, bro. It just sucks, man. It just sucks. That's really all I can say about it, man. It's hard. It's definitely difficult. You know what I'm saying? And it's only one way to put a stop to it, and it's we have to go out there and win these games. Just being completely honest, we were better when we played them in the Garden this entire season. I know we lost game 2 and 1, but game 2 was better. Regular season was better. Here we was, I was telling them it felt louder here for them than it did in the Garden, and it's but we got to put a stop to it as a team. Winning these games, that's what's going to make our fans louder than theirs or whatever. I don't know how to keep them out. I don't know the logistics of it, but it does suck. I can't even lie. It definitely does suck.
Yeah, but Maxey's right. You have to win games. You got to give Sixers fans a reason to not sell their tickets. And I also do not believe it was all just Sixers fans selling their tickets. I mean, there's ticket brokers who own some of those seats. There's always tickets available on the resale market that don't sell. I mean, that's just the norm when it comes to any sporting event. And, of course, Knicks fans would be more excited to buy tickets than Sixers fans would. But I think it's so overblown, all the shots that people are taking to Philadelphia.
If it was 3-0 going into Madison Square Garden, you don't think there would be a lot of Sixers fans up at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, and hold on. I just got Sandy just tweeted at us. This is spot on, Ricky. This is from Sandy on social media, on Twitter. She goes, Bill and Ricky, I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years. I sell my first and second round seats until they make it to an Eastern Conference Finals. I've seen this movie too many times. I need a new ending.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Exactly. And then you got Josh Hart trolling Philadelphia fans. Here's what he said after the game.
Nah, man, because everybody was begging for Philly to not sell the tickets and all that stuff. So, man, I used to think Philly was a sports town. I don't know if it is anymore.
You know what's odd about that? It's like Embiid did beg them not to sell their tickets, but who's listening to him right now?
Well, what he said was, don't sell the tickets. If you need money, I got you.
Yeah,
and
like
I said at the time, well, what are you going to do? But really, you got to give this fan base a reason to believe. You got to give this fan base a reason to want to come out and sell out every single game, regular season, postseason, and not let Knicks fans in. You haven't given them a reason. That's on the Sixers. That's not on the city of Philadelphia. That's not on the fan base. That's on the 76ers. You don't see this happening in Red October. You don't see it happening down at the Link when the Giants and the Eagles are playing in a postseason game. You don't see it happening in Flyers postseason. Now, we haven't had a Flyers postseason until this year, but those Flyers fans showed out, even down 3-0 on Saturday night. Flyers fans showed out, and they gave that team the standing ovation and the Let's Go Flyers chant that they deserved. The Sixers, unfortunately, too disappointing too often. All right, well, hopefully changes are coming. We haven't gotten any updates on the Sixers' future. We know Daryl Morey went out to the NBA Combine. He's not meeting with the media. Nick Nurse not meeting with the media. The players not meeting with the media. So when we get an update, we'll certainly bring it to you. But the Flyers will be meeting with the media the rest of the week. So we'll let you know anything good that comes out of the Flyers. But I'm more focused on when the Stanley Cup Finals is over, what moves the Flyers are going to make, Ricky Bo.
Yeah, it should be interesting because you and I have talked about this. We know they need a sniper or two. They need some guys that are willing to put the puck on the net. They have the scrappy players. Now you just need those guys that could lean a little bit towards being, 40, 50 goal scorers.
All right, so we will do more Flyers talk throughout the week, I guarantee it. We got a new deal of the week, though. Let me tell you quickly about the new deal of the week. You get a $50 gift card to Treehouse World for just $25. You could zip line, climb, explore all Treehouse World has to offer for half the price. Get this deal while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Coming up on the radio side, our man Kevin Cooney is here for Philly Sports Tonight. He's got a lot to say about the 76ers. On the television side, you got Birds Huddle coming up on NBC Sports Philadelphia. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Remember, we got 3 $50 gift cards we're giving away for the Italian Festival this weekend down on South 9th Street. So make sure you tune in. We'll do a lot more Phillies talk tomorrow as we get ready for a big series against the Red Sox. And I'm sure we'll get some more leaks with regard to the Eagles' schedule as the NFL release for their schedule is on Thursday night. But have a great night, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.